Okay, part 1, number 5. We've got ourselves a rational function here. To find the vertical asymptote, that's a vertical line that cannot be crossed. So that means x values that are not allowed to be. What is x not allowed to be? Well, it looks like we could plug in anything for x. But we have a division here, and we're not allowed to divide by 0. That's a no-no. So whatever makes the denominator equal 0 is going to create our vertical asymptote. So we're going to set 3x minus 6 to 0. We're going to figure out what would make our denominator 0. So add 6 to both sides, I get 3x equals 6. Divide by 3, I get x equals 2. If x was 2, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. You're not allowed to divide by 0. So therefore, they're not allowed to have any points on the line x equals 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my graph. Here is the line x equals 2. There it is. All right, what about the horizontal asymptote? Well, what is y not allowed to be? Well, that's a little bit trickier to figure out. So what we can do is we can figure out as x gets really, really big, what happens to this value? Okay, because anyway, let's just see what happens. Why can't I talk? Okay, so if I make x really, really big, so like 1,000. So I get 9,000 minus 7. So what is that 9,000 minus 7? That's 8,993. And on the bottom, 3,000 minus 6, that's 2,994. Okay, without a calculator, right? This is without a calculator. Well, that's about 9. That's approximately 9. This is approximately 3. So what's 9 divided by 3? That's approximately 3. So in other words, no matter how big I make the x value, I'm never actually going to get to 3. Because this one is not, these are never going to be divisible and get to 3 because of these little 7s and 6s here, okay? So we're never actually going to be able to get to the number 3. So therefore, we're never going to be able to cross the line y equals 3. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put my horizontal asymptote. We are never actually going to be able to get that value. No matter what I put in for x, I'm never going to be able to get out of a 3. I get out of 3 because these two are never going to be exactly 9 and exactly 3 to get a 3. All right, next, find the y-intercept. Just like you do with any function, to find the y-intercept, you change x to 0. So I have 9 times 0 minus 7 over 3 times 0 minus 6. So that leaves me with negative 7 over negative 6, which is just 7 over 6. So that's a little more than 1. So I can graph that. My y-intercept is a little bit over 1. I don't have my glasses on, so that'll be close enough. Find the x-intercept. Okay, just like with any graph, to find the x-intercept, change y to 0. So this one's a little harder. 0 is equal to 9x minus 7 over 3x minus 6. Multiply both sides by 3x minus 6 so that we can get that out of the denominator. Bring it up here. Oh, what's 0 times 3x minus 6? Just 0. So I'm left with 0 equals 9x minus 7. Solve this, add 7 to both sides. I get 7 equals 9x. Divide both sides by 9. X equals 7/9. So that's a little less than 1. So my x-intercept is a little bit less than 1. Now, to sketch the function, remember it's got to go through these 2 points, but it can't cross that and it can't cross that. So it's just going to come really close to it. It's just going to curve and come really close to it and going to just keep going that way forever. Okay, but remember there is another side to this thing. How do we get the other side? We figure out the relationship between these 2 points and where our asymptotes are crossing each other. They're mirror images of each other. So starting here, I'm going to figure out how can I get to this point. I can get to this point by going down 3 and over 1 and a little bit more. So I'm going to do the opposite of that. I'm going to go up 3. So I went down 3, so I'm going to go up 3. And then it was to the left 1 and a little more, so I'm going to go to the right 1 and a little more. So this is that one's mirror image. Same thing here. To get to this point, I'm going to go to the left 2, and then down 1 and almost 2. Okay, left 2, so that means I'm going to go right 2. And instead of going down 2, I'm going to go up almost 2, because it wasn't down exactly 2. See that? Little mirror images, and then I can sketch this in. Bam. There she goes. All right, so that's number 5. Done with part 1.